Hey everyone, it is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. Today we're going to update you on the latest weekly forecast for October 7th through October 13th so you can plan your week ahead. Before we do get started, I do ask you if you do like weather-related content, please consider subscribing to my channel as I will upload about 5 videos per week in the month of October, as this is transition month and we do have a lot to talk about and it's my favorite time of year. So let's get started. So we do have a cold front that's on its way right now, Sunday, but by Monday morning, we're looking at lows near 60 in Dallas. So this is a welcome cold front. This is a lot of people in this area are pretty much over the heat, but back behind it, even some freezing temperatures showing up in the Dakotas, Montana, parts of Wyoming and Idaho and Utah. And this cold front is well on its way, and it'll make its way down to the southeast, but you're still going to be feeling the effects of it on the other side, where you're going to be in the 70s in Louisiana and Florida and Georgia, Mississippi, and all up the Carolina coast. But some cooler air, again, filtering in with that cold front up in the northeast and northern Pennsylvania and parts of Indiana and Ohio. But as we go into Tuesday, it deepens even further, and that cold front swings further south into the south and southeast. But back behind it, that cold air is filtering into parts of Wyoming, Colorado, where you're going to dip down to the low 40s now, in Utah and the Dakota area and Colorado. Even some 50s showing up in Texas. So, man, those are some nice temperatures you're talking about in Missouri in the 40s, and you're talking, Indiana in the low 40s. So this is some welcome cold air coming, but it's still swinging down by Tuesday, and you're starting to see some 70s, but you're still hanging tight some 70s in Florida. But here, the main story this week is this massive deepening low. This drops down to 993 millibars by Thursday morning in the Colorado region, and this is some deep cold air coming, and we literally go from 80 degrees in Denver to 32 degrees and snowing, if you can believe that. Their first snowfall of the season that I'm expecting on Thursday with this deepening low. And I'm making you aware of this little feature out in the eastern Atlantic that's going to make headlines this week as a subtropical low starts developing, and this really spins up the East Coast and tries to make its way in. But as this thing deepens, it'll pump in some offshore flow, which we'll talk into later on in the video. But here is your overall temperatures where it kind of rebounds on Thursday, but we have a second cold front coming. So it's just a quick rebound, but then we have that second even stronger front this time, where you're going to see some 20s popping up in Montana and Wyoming and Idaho. So these are high temperatures, folks. And the Dakotas getting into the 30s. And so, like I said, that cold front is going to be making its way to Colorado, where you're going to make that transition from 80 degrees literally in a 50-degree drop, 32 and snowing, and hit 20 degrees by Friday morning. So, man, this is a cold front coming. But it'll be in the 80s. And Dallas popping back up in the 80s from a high of in the 70s earlier in the week, but we'll still be holding tight into the 80 degrees in Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and parts of Florida. But hang tight, you guys in the East. It's that cold air is filtering your way. But let me show you some of these anomalies by Friday. This is incredible, the cold front. These are 20, 30, 35 degree plus below normal temperatures. Imagine if this happened in the heart of winter. We'd be well below zero here, where this cold air just deepens. And for the second week in a row, we have a major snowstorm breaking out in the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota, which I'll show you in a little bit. But this cold air is filtering south, and you can see the demarcation line where literally we go from 12 degrees above average in Dallas to 12 degrees below average. It's, like I said, we're going to have a 50-degree drop in Colorado, and that cold air is just making its way south and southeast. But ahead of it, still well above normal temperatures. But so this is definitely a transition week where a lot of moving parts, and it's typical in October where we have these roller coaster temperatures swinging up and down and having these big, huge temperature swings. But let me show you the max wind gusts from that little subtropical feature that we talked about earlier in the video that's going to be coming up at the Virginia coast. Now, these are knots. So the calculator is essentially 1.15. So when you're seeing 40 knots offshore, those are about 45 to 47 mile per hour winds. All right. So some of these models are actually showing, offshore, 100 mile per hour wind gusts. So this will affect a lot of shipping, but this will be counterclockwise and it'll pump that wind off the coast. So you're going to be having some even a little bit of a storm surge off the coastline here in the Virginia valleys. But by Saturday morning, like I said, we have that cold front coming in, and these are high temperatures. These are high temperatures on Saturday, where we're only going to be about 61 degrees in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you can believe that. But behind it in the Dakotas, where you're going to have that snowpack, which I'll show you all that snow, we're going to be talking freezing temperatures, possibly for several days straight in the Dakotas, if you can believe that. Parts of Dakotas might drop below freezing on Wednesday afternoon and might not get above freezing until Saturday afternoon. So this is a big time cold front on its way. And like I said, parts of Colorado is going to experience its first snowfall this week on Thursday, but that will deepen and lift up and bring heavy snows in Wyoming and Dakotas and parts of Montana. But as this transition period is filtering in down to the south and southeast, you're going to start getting to the action on Saturday where you're going to be in the 40s and Chicago, but it'll swing. And so there's still some 80s popping up in the southeast. But if we take it one more frame, it's even, like I said, that cold front's heading your way. And you can see by Saturday morning, it even extends further down to the south and southeast, but it deepens further in the Midwest part of the country where even some 20s are popping up and even some teens in Wyoming. So like I said, this is a very chilly air this time of year. I know last week when we had that snowstorm in Montana, just east of Cut Bank, it hit 1 degree, guys. So in a snowpack, you can calculate about a 10 degrees further lowering of the temperatures under a snowpack. So these lows can definitely get down to the single digits coming up by Saturday morning in the Dakotas. Like I said, but we're going to be in the 40s and something we have not experienced in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for many months. So this is your first full, true fall front knocking on the door, and it'll be here and it'll affect much of the country by Sunday. And you can see by Sunday morning, we bottom out and we're going to be in the 20s under that snowpack in much of the Dakotas and Wyoming and Idaho and parts of even Colorado and 45 in Dallas. Hello. So, and then Missouri and parts of Illinois. So even you're finally getting to the action in parts of Mississippi and Georgia. So this is a welcome cold front, even stronger cold front on the second half of this week coming aboard. But look at the snowfall. This is over the next week in the United States, and look at the deepening snowfall. We're expecting 2 feet of snow in the Dakotas. That's incredible for this time of year. A couple inches, 1 to 2 inches in Denver that I'm expecting on Thursday. But as this low deepens, it's going to affect much of the Dakotas, South Dakota, bringing about a foot of snow. But where that low really deepens and centers, we could have some spots, again, approaching 3 feet of snow, if you can believe that. We hit 4 feet last week in Cut Bank and parts of Montana. So I don't think this is going to bring those heavy amounts, but still 3 feet is incredible. But here's the overall precipitation for the next 7 days, where you can see under that snowpack, a lot of the precipitation in the Dakotas. We finally get some rain in Dallas, where it's going to end a 37-day rainless streak, which I think ends actually today with that cold front, that first cold front that moves in. But that second cold front will swing up the East Coast and bring some welcome rain to parts of Pennsylvania, to Kentucky, and to Tennessee, and parts of Missouri, and even the Ohio region. But look at this little feature offshore, like we talked about. Luckily, it rains offshore because these are 20-inch rain amounts off the northeast coast. But like I said, these wind gusts are bringing gale force winds along the east coast later on this week. That's going to make headlines. And that little tropical feature that we talked about, that was a wave that got sheared off, is still bringing some heavy precipitation in parts of Florida. So now for my POW moment of the day, where I highlight several followers. Michael wrote in yesterday, beautiful weather forecast. Well done, POW Ponder. Your weather forecast is very professional and exact. POW, I give you 2 thumbs up for all your forecast and highly professional. I greatly appreciate that, Michael. I definitely have a true passion for the weather, and comments like that definitely keeps me doing what I love to do. And Lori Kyle writes in, I love watching your videos. You break down the weather in such a way that it makes so much sense. I love you that when you go live during the storms, and you're the first place I go in those situations. And thank you for all your hard work, and it definitely shows. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Lori. I greatly appreciate it. Then Sean writes in, I spotted a woolly caterpillar, which means we're in a bad winter. There's a folklore out there that the more black it is, the bigger it is, the more fuzzier it is. We're going to have the harsher winter. And I don't know about you guys, the reports I've been hearing, they've all been black and they've all been big and fuzzy. So I'd like to hear your input out there if you've seen a woolly caterpillar, and what did it look like. So please comment below and what you find. And then Randy sent this in on my POW Ponder on Weather fan page on Facebook. And he was up in Vermont this week and took this beautiful shot where we're starting to get into this the leaf peeping season up in the Northeast, where it was in the 50s, and took this beautiful picture of the countryside with these clouds moving in. So I greatly appreciate Randy for sending that in. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. If you did find value in this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and definitely catch me in this video where I protect you before and after the storm.